Hello guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back to Football Manager 2023. And me, KJM, or you can call me Dean, back on my epic quest across Europe to win every top flight tier. I keep saying top flight tier division. They're the same thing. To win every top tier division in Europe. We're currently in nation number 14, I believe, which is Sweden. We are the manager of IFK Göteborg, or Gothenburg, however you want to say it. And we've had quite a good last half of the season after taking over with the team at bottom of the table. Now, we have made some signings as well to help us along the way. We've also welcomed an old face back into the fold. And while we're on the subject of old faces, I wanted to show you quickly one of my former signings. And that is Milton. He has gone on. He plays for Man City now. He's gone on to be absolutely amazing. He is fantastic. A 28-year-old now, the Bolivian, who we had at Podbrezova. 31 appearances for us in that season, where we picked him up for, I think we picked him up on a free. No, £375,000. He then moved to Leicester for 4.6, and then Man City paid 5.9 million for him. He's become an absolute beast of a player on £155,000 a week. So we have unearthed some gems in this save. In terms of the signings that we've made, though, I have made a few. There's a few others coming in when the transfer window opens again. But the ones that we have signed, let's go by date. We'll start off with the first one that we brought in, and that was Mihai Dragnea. Now, Mihai Dragnea was at FC Voluntari between 38 and 49. Now, I cannot remember for the life of me, and I should really go back and look at the footage, if he was one of my players at Voluntari. In fact, I imagine that he was. Did I play him, though, at Voluntari? 2 games in that final season. Was that the season I was there? In 48-49. Let's have a look when I was the manager of Voluntari. Yes. That was the year I was there, and he didn't play very much for me. That's the year that we won the league with Voluntari. But we've brought him in here. He was a decent option for the size of the club that we are. Unfortunately, he has picked up a few injuries. He's not featured too much. Scored 1 goal in 6 games, which isn't great. And that goal actually came on his debut. We brought in Almin Alik as well for £105,000. Now, he's another one who's had a few injuries since he's been here. Not really hit the ground running, but he's not really played too well either. Too many times, I beg your pardon. £105,000 from a Serbian side. Željeznica. We'll find out when we get to Serbia. But yeah, not great. Sebastian Novaki. No, Newcastle. Them people up the road from me. Them people up the road. Now, if you know me, you know that I'm a Sunderland fan. So people from Newcastle, yeah, we'll leave it at that. But Newcastle are actually our parent affiliate, and we've brought in Sebastian Novaki, the Pole, in on loan for the rest of the season from Newcastle. He's got 5 in 8, although he hasn't really wowed me. He can play on the right-hand side or up front, but 5 in 8 goals is not a bad return. The match rating wise is a little bit poor. He's not really done too much. And now our old face in Jan Ulrich, who we signed at Podbrezova. We've brought him here as well to play in goal for us. But I don't know what's happened with his history, because we signed him for Podbrezova. But according to this, he only ever played 2 games for Podbrezova. Did I play? I'm sure I played Jan Ulrich. I'm sure I played him a lot, but if for some reason it hasn't actually tracked his history. He went on loan to Skalica. I don't think that was when he was with us, or when I was there, I beg your pardon. But we've brought him in now, £375,000 to IFK Göteborg. He's conceded 9 in 9, so it's not been too great, although he has kept a few clean sheets. Now, I'll start off with the league table, because we did set ourselves a challenge of taking this club from the bottom into 4th. That's now gone. We can't get 4th, but we can get 5th in what has been a fantastic rise for us. We've moved up from a bottom to 6th. How many points were we on when we took over? I really can't remember, but we've had an unbelievable rise up the table. We were threatening AIK, who were 4th at one point. We were threatening them. Malmo are the champions, though. We're 20 points off Malmo. But the fact we've done this with the squad that we've got, it means that we can move on up. We've got a chance next season with Göteborg. So we'll go over what's happened since you were here? We obviously started off with that 3-1 win against Landskrona. We then beat Helsingborg at 2-1 at home. Panic and Obradovic, who is one of the strikers who was here already, he got a goal in this one for us. Hasn't featured too much though recently. But we won 2-1. We went behind really early on and I thought, oh no, it's starting. But yeah, nice 2-1 win in that one. We followed that up with a 2-1 win, believe it or not, over Malmo. And it was Obradovic with both the goals in this one. Player of the match award as well. Malmo didn't deserve to lose. We definitely didn't deserve to win. But, you know, we scored 2 of our 4 shots on target, which was absolutely fantastic. And a 2-1 win there. Next up was Elfsborg. Another 2 goals scored in this one, this time with a clean sheet. Again, probably didn't deserve to win, but we're the ones who found the back of the net. It was Dragneer and Roger Venberg, who I've actually moved out into the right-hand side more recently. But Eric Strom in defence picked up the man of the match in this one. Damsgaard had a good performance in goal as well. So this was obviously before we brought Jan Ulrich in. But Djurgårdens were next, and we kept our unbeaten start going. Alic, that was his first game, picked up an injury in the 6th minute. Which isn't good, but a 0-0 in this one, probably a fair result on reflection, is the 0-0. After that, it was Kalmar. It was a 3-1 win over Kalmar. Strom, Ilunga and Jalali with the goals, and this one is one that we definitely deserve to win. We absolutely battered Kalmar in this one. It was a fantastic performance. After that, it was Bromma Poinkene. A 2-1 win in this one. Becker and Venberg with the goals really, really late on. We were heading for defeat before that happened. Dejan Matreski picked up an injury. Dragnea picked up an injury in this one. But we probably did deserve to win on reflection. Great performance. This was Ulrich's first game. Yeah, happy with that. Happy to beat Bromma Poinkene 2-1. Then we finally lost a game. So that's, 8 games? 7 games? Our first 7 games in charge, undefeated. But then we went to Sirius and they beat us 3-2. You know, it was even in the first half. They went ahead, we went ahead, and then they came back and scored 2 goals after that. In a game that they probably did deserve to win. Or maybe a draw, but, you know, we weren't at our greatest in this one. Ulrich had a really poor game. Venberg played poorly on the right-hand side, but I think that was his first game there. But we did bounce back against Tarby in the cup, 2-1 win in that one. Next up was Mjällby in the league. It was Roger Venberg with 2 goals in this one. Good performance from the boys. Happy with that one. And then it was Värnamo, one of the other teams who we applied for when we first came to Sweden. Picked up a 2-0 win in this one. 12 shots on target. You can see their goalkeepers picked up the man of the match. So we absolutely battered Värnamo in this one. Ulrich had a good performance as well, but he only faced 2 shots against him. But it was a good performance all round by the boys. Next up was the other club who we applied for, and it was Osters. We went away to Osters and absolutely hammered them 4-1. Eric Strom with 2, Navaki with 2. Venberg missed a penalty as well. Disappointing to concede that 1 goal, but you can see XG-wise, again, we absolutely dominated the game. And then we've had a little bit of a poor form the last 4 games. We did get beaten 3-0 by Hammarby, who are second in the table. Marcus Loff and Linus Floren with the goals. They had a lot of shots on target. We didn't really hit the target. We were very poor, very, very poor defensively. And going forward, it was just a poor performance by us. 0-0 with AIK, the team who we were chasing down in the league. 0-0 in this one. Probably should have won. Definitely should have won. But we couldn't find the back of the net. Their goalkeeper had a good game. 3-0 over GIF Sundsvall. Venberg with 2, Navaki with the other one. Again, another good performance. We did start off quite poorly. It took us till about the 60th minute before we started doing anything really of note in the game. But 3-0, happy with that one. And then most recently I've taken on Norrköping, who are the team just above us in the league. And a 0-0 in this one. Again, another close game. Goalless draw, probably a fair reflection when you look at the match stats for shots. Although they did have Soderberg sent off in the 66th minute, we just could not capitalise on it. And one of their defenders has actually picked up the Man of the Match award. And that would have took us above Norrköping. So, unfortunately, it hasn't happened. They're at home to Malmo today, though. So, Hopefully Malmo can do us a favour. We can get into 5th place. We're not going to get European football though, unfortunately, but I think there is a decent payout in the league for 5th place. 2.4 million, it's not a bad amount of money. Financially, we're still pretty good. I have moved a lot of my initial transfer budget that I had here into the wages so I could get some players in. I've got some players coming in already joining, including breaking our personal record transfer fee of 1.2 million, I think it was, for Yusuf Tash. Let's while we're on the subject of Yusuf Tash, let's have a quick look at the young man. He is still our record signing in this save. There he is. He's now at Trabzonspor, back in his homeland of Turkey. He's gone on a free, but he's had a decent career. He has had a decent career. He's now 26. He's £36,000 a week. Probably hasn't developed as well as he could have done, but he's had a reasonable footballing career. But we are breaking that record transfer, and it is for Marius Bjorkarsson, if I'm saying that right, and he's a defender, so we're splashing the cash on a defender. He's coming in from Tromsø in Norway. He looks very, very good, and he's going to improve us massively defensively. Maybe a little bit of an inflated transfer fee, but it's the lowest I could get it down to. So he's our new record signing. Obviously, we'll go over that next season when we do get into the new season. There's a few players joining as well. But today we are taking on Landskrona again. Of course, that's who we took on in our first game in Sweden. But it's the end of the season. It's the last game. Can we get that 5th place in what has been a fantastic season? The way that we've turned this team down from a relegation threatened team into pushing for 5th place in the table, which is really, really good. Let me just sort my starting lineup out. Let's sure, we'll go with Gylfason. Another thing I've noticed, you might notice his name on the middle of the screen, just there, is we've got a certain player in our squad which has got particularly in my timeline, real life, my age, he's got a very, very famous surname, and that is Ibrahimovic. I think everybody knows Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the Lion, as he calls himself. We've got Anas Ibrahimovic. I've checked. According to that, he's no relation to Zlatan. It doesn't mean he's not, though. The game just might not be telling me. But Ibrahimovic, it doesn't seem like it's a very popular Swedish name to me. He's actually part Bosnian, which is where the name comes from. But yeah, I might even rename him to the Young Lion. But let's get into the game anyway, guys. The starting lineup for today is going to be Jan Uruk in goal. Like I say, he's had a decent career. He's developed quite well. He is developing here still as well. 25 years old. A decent keeper. Assen is right back for us today. Again, big improvement needed in this area. Centre half as well. Strom has actually had a decent season. Strom's not too bad. He's in fact, he's the best defender at the club as things stand. So he may keep his place for next season. A younger, not great, but he's done okay under as a 6.99 average rating. And then left back today is going to be Anderson. Isaac Anderson, really not good at all. Matreski, I believe, has actually had a few injuries. You can see his fitness and his match fitness, so he's unfortunately going to miss out today. It is the Young Lion in midfield alongside Panic, who can play as a right back as well, but Panic goes back into the midfield today. Gylfason, who is naturally a centre half, and he's actually not too bad as a centre half, but he's going to push on to that Segundo Volante role for us today. On the left, it is going to be one of the new signings in Alic. Probably, I didn't really overpay for him, but he's definitely on far too much money. It's another area that does need improving. On the right-hand side is Venberg. He has adapted himself to this right-hand side very, very well, and he's not too bad as an inside forward. Plus, he's got that free kick taken. It's just, it's really good for us. So he may keep his place on the right-hand side next season. And then up top today is not going to be Dragner. We're going to bring Navaki in for today. So, can we get 5th place, guys? Can we get 5th place after starting the season off at the bottom picking up the team halfway through the season? Dragged them from 16th place up to currently 6th position. So it would be a fantastic way to announce our arrival in Sweden. And we get our first highlight in the 15th minute. It's Ulrich going long. It's easy for Ustad though. Finds Stelland Pettersson in to Murbeck. Johansson back to Pettersson. They've gone long down the left-hand side. Where's the defender gone? It's Holm. Gets the ball back into the middle. And Norring with the effort from range. It's had Jan Ulrich scrambling across his goal line there. But thankfully it has gone over and we survived that one. We started off in terms of shots much better. But Johansson with this corner. Ulrich comes out, drops it. Ulrich's dropped it. I've bigged him up, and he's gone and done that. What you doing, Jan? What you doing? Dominguez, the right place at the right time, and that's Landskrona's first shot on target, and they have taken the lead. And at half-time, it is still just the 1-0 to Landskrona. Now, one thing I have noticed for some reason here in Sweden with Göteborg is we are very much a second-half team. So hopefully that continues into today, and we become that second-half team again. Remember our first game in charge, we beat these 3-1, and we've improved the squad. They're still fighting for their lives down at the bottom, which is probably helping. They're dropping Mjällby back into the relegation zone there. Landskrona would currently get into the playoff. But we are not doing the business. We've had 5 shots on target. We've got some really poor performances out here. Let's switch things around. Let's get Novaki out on the right-hand side. Venberg. Go on then, Dragnea. Show us what you can do. Alic is going to come off as well for Becker. Now, Ritter, who scored the hat-trick in our opening game, has not performed very well. That hat-trick was a flash in the pan, shall we say. It was a once in a blue moon moment. But as things stand, guys, we're still losing here to Landskrona. We're dropping down to 7th, which is not good. Despite having much of the opportunities in this game, it doesn't look like we're going to get a single highlight going forward for IFK Göteborg. So that's a horrible way to end the season. Of course, Landskrona needed that result. That probably puts something extra into the mix for them there, but that's poor from us. That is really poor, and it's disappointing to finish the season with a defeat. But we have sort of dropped off these last 5 games. But 45 points, considering where we were when we took over, I can be happy with that. I can be happy with that. It's 2.24 million in the bank. Obviously, I've got now a busy winter ahead because it is a summer league here in Sweden. In fact, I don't even know when the season starts. They tend to have quite long breaks in Scandinavia. April. So I've got 5 months to 5 months to get through, guys. Hopefully, I can get a decent squad put together in those 5 months. But yeah, guys, that's the end of our first half season in Sweden. It's gone very, very well. Much better than I anticipated, particularly taking over from the team bottom. Just a quick update on Beroe in the Bulgarian First League. They currently find themselves sat in 9th place. They do have a game in hand, 15 points. They could move up to 5th. But it's not been the best of season so far for Beroe. In fact, if we have a look at Beroe, they have not made any signings. They've got Ambuia there, who obviously our player, who we signed in terms of transfers that they have actually made. They have brought a few in, but they're all Bulgarians from, teams who we beat last season. Mosquera was one who I signed for them before I left, a decent centre-half. How have they done in the Champions League? I can see they're playing Europa League football, so that tends to tell you that they didn't get through the Champions League. They made it through the first qualifying that they were in, then they got knocked out, and then they went into the Europa League playoff where they won on penalties against Servette. So they're in the Europa League phase again, which they have lost all of their games. They've drawn one against Sporting. Losses to Brøndby and Lille, unfortunately. Right, that's the end of the season, guys. That is the end of the season. I've got 5 months to build a squad, basically. So I'm going to go and do that now. We'll come back at the start of next season. We'll go through all of our transfers, and we'll kick off the new season where we'll be looking to push on to that title in Sweden. I don't want to be here too long. We've got a long way to go in this save still. We're not even halfway there yet. Guys, thank you for watching though. As always, thank you for your continued support. Please remember to hit that thumbs up button. Leave a comment as well. You know, if you go back and look at the videos that have been commented on, I've replied to every single one of them, and I will continue to do so, but because I do appreciate it, guys. But yeah, thank you very much for being here, and I will see you all in the next episode. Cheers, guys.